Today, I'm going to teach you how we went from this slide to this slide. Do you want this tip of the iceberg slide? Which, by the way, was handcrafted by SlideCow, meaning it is 100% customizable for absolutely free? Then please do us a favor. Click on the first link in our description and sign up to our mailing list for tons of updates and exclusive content. Your welcome email to our mailing list will consist of a download link for the slide. Also, if you have Facebook, please go to facebook.com/SlideCow and follow our page. Thanks, guys. Welcome back to the SlideCow Design a Good Slide series, where I take your request to redesign slides from boring to a-moo-zing. A SlideCow follower is seeking help for one of his slides. The email he sent me reads, "Dear Yoyo, I loved your last Design a Good Slide tutorial where you helped out Jen. I was wondering if you could do the same for me. I'm a student in college and I have a presentation where I have to present about Steve Jobs during his time as CEO of Apple. I have this one slide of a quote by him and I think it looks really boring. Can you help me make this slide look amusing? I promise I'll tell all my friends about you if you do. Thanks, Sandeep P." Can and will do, Sandeep. Let's get started. Step 1. Find the right image. I think that the images Sandeep provided could be a bit more effective. I've made a blog post on SlideCow that follows a specific model to use to pick the perfect images for your PowerPoint slide every single time. You can find this post by clicking on the info button on the top right corner of this video. Or alternatively, you can find a link in the description. Following that model, I'm going to be using this image right over here. It's big, it's attention grabbing, it's relevant, and has the potential to tap into the emotion of the audience. First things first, let's close this box right over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this image to the right, just like that. All right, so the second thing I'm going to do is remove this text component right over here. And the reason why is because I want to place my quote somewhere in that area. How do I do that? Well, you're going to have to click on the image, and then you're going to click on Format, and then you're going to click on Remove Background. Then you're presented with something like this, right? What does this mean? Well, everything that is overlaid by the color pink means it'll be cropped out, right? So you can see over here that we have Steve Jobs' shoulder cropped out. We also have the top of his head cropped out. We don't want that. We want the Steve Jobs image to stay intact, but we want to make sure that this part of the image is removed entirely. So how do we do that? Well, over here, you're going to click on Mark Areas to Keep, and then you're going to have a pen, right? Or a pencil or whatever. Just draw over Steve Jobs just like this. Don't draw through him, just over him. Let go, and we still have some work to do. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to make sure the top of his head is also in there. Perfect. All right, so now we know that Steve Jobs is not touched, but everything else in the image, including the text component that you see over here, is cropped out. That's what we're after. So I'm going to click on Keep Changes. Boom. All right, and that is the first step completed. Step 2. Design the quote box. All right, so the first thing we have to do over here is go to Insert and then click on Shapes and then click on this rectangle right over here. And then we're just going to draw out a layout of where our quote box will be. Something that looks like this. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Then what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate the slide and you're going to delete the Steve Jobs image over here. Don't worry, we're just using this slide to design our quote box and then we'll go back, right? So what you're going to do over here is you're going to go to Insert, you're going to go to Shapes, and then you're going to click on this shape right here, which is called Frame. And you're going to draw over the quote box right over here. When that's done, delete the box that you had previously. So click on that and click on Delete. Now click on the frame that you have and make it thinner by moving this yellow circle to the left. Something like this. All right, cool. Remove the outline and change the fill color to black. Actually, we can make that just a tad thinner. Yep, that looks fine. All right, so now I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to this slide. I'm going to copy this quote that was provided. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to change the font to this. Let's just go with Montserrat. And I'm also going to reduce the font size to around 23. I think 23 would be fine. I'm going to reduce the width of this box and move it in the middle of the frame. Let's see if I can reduce it just a bit more. All right, I think, no, actually, let's just do that. Yeah, okay, that looks fine. So I'm just going to remove the quotation marks, and I'll show you why I'm doing that in a bit. And I'm also going to remove this part right here, which says Steve Jobs 1955-2011, because we're going to put that somewhere else on the slide later. All right, that looks perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do now, right, the reason why we remove the quotation marks is because we're actually going to put a quotation icon on the top left of this box, okay? And how do we do that? Well, let's just copy this text box over here and paste it. And we'll move it to the right. I'm going to highlight everything and just make one quotation mark, just like that. I'm going to reduce it, and I'm going to increase the size to around 200. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over to Insert Shapes and click on this rectangle and just draw over the quotation mark. Then I'm just going to click on the quotation mark and the rectangle, go to Format, Merge Shapes, and then click on Intersect. Now I have a fully customizable quotation mark right over here. I can change the color, I can add an outline if I wanted to, whatever. It's all up to me. So I'm just going to make this black right here to match the box that you see over here. Okay, let's move both of these guys in the middle somewhat, and let's position this. So I want it to be something like this. I'm just going to reduce the size of this to match that. I think this looks fine. I'm just going to remove the outline for this as well. All right, that looks perfect. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut up a part of this frame to make room for our quotation mark right over here. To do that, I'm going to click on Insert Shapes, Rectangle, and I'm going to draw over a quotation mark plus something like this. I think this looks absolutely fine. All right, then you're going to click on the frame, hold Control, and then click on the rectangle, then go to Merge Shapes, Subtract, which is right over here. And I think that looks perfect. But let's just move this left a bit, just like that. And let's also just decrease the size of that and move it somewhere in the center, just like this. All right, perfect. Step 3, put them together and fine tune. All right, so we have our image right over here, and we can delete this box, and we have our quote box right over here. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna put them together and make it look awesome. And to do that, I'm just gonna highlight everything and press on Ctrl G to group it up, copy it, go over here and paste. And I'm just gonna move the box, which is right there, over to the left side over here, and just position it where I would like. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're gonna add the other text component that we removed before, which was the Steve Jobs 1955-2011, and we're gonna put it somewhere in the bottom right or over here. To do that, I'm just gonna go to Insert, go to Text Box, and just draw something out over here. Let's just type it out, Steve Jobs 1955-2011. Highlight everything, make it white, maybe change the font size to around 22. Same font as before, which is Montserrat. And I'm gonna make this bold and make everything all caps. I'm also going to make it 2 lines instead of 1. And I'm gonna move it and position it to the right so that I can move the box somewhere over here. Maybe just move it just slightly there, over here. And now we can just fine tune this to make sure that it's perfect. Just gonna draw it out, maybe this. There we go. Absolutely perfect. Sandeep, I hope that helped you, and I hope it helped everybody else looking to do something similar. Guys, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this video. Please also be sure to sign up to the Slide Cow mailing list. You know, we really, really love your support. Tell your friends about us. Tell everyone about us. We love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.